Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm the early years dietitian. I'm a paediatric dietitian and an early years feeding specialist. And today's video, I'm going to be answering a question that comes up probably more than any other question that I see on social media at the moment. So when people tag me in groups or people ask questions, this is the one that probably comes up most regularly. And that is, help, my baby doesn't seem interested in food. And there are a few things to think about to help you if you are having that problem. So the first thing to think about is, are they ready for weaning? Okay, now depending on the age of your baby, remember that there are a few things that you're looking for to know that they're ready. I'm not going to go into them in this video. There are definitely other videos that I've done around this on YouTube, on social media. So make sure that your baby is ready. The second thing to acknowledge is, remember that for many, many babies, this is a bit of a slow burn and it's a lot of skills to learn. There's an awful lot going on. Sitting in the high chair, coordinating the food in the mouth, coordinating all the muscles and nerves in the chew and the swallow. And for some babies, it just takes longer than parents expect it is going to. So make sure that this is not just you expecting it to be moving along quicker. And that is my next point as well. Sometimes what we have to think about is managing our expectations as parents in so many areas. But with this one in particular, it is a conversation that I have with many, many parents. And that is all about understanding that sometimes our expectations are up here of what we anticipate should be happening, how quickly they move on, like I've already said, how much they should be eating and what skills they should have. And actually, sometimes we need to bring that down a little bit. And so the problem sometimes is not how your baby is doing. The problem sometimes lies in the understanding we have as parents of what is actually going on and what should be happening. The next thing we think about is somebody sat opposite the baby eating as well, so that there is a reference point for baby to be looking at and know what they should be doing. So this is an entirely new skill, and I see a lot of photographs of babies eating where they're kind of maybe in a high chair in the middle of the room, or even if they are at a table, they're just being fed by somebody, or they're feeding themselves, but nobody else around is eating. And the way that babies learn is by mimicking and doing what others are doing. So it's important that somebody else is sat showing that baby what to do, putting food into the mouth, sometimes doing exaggerated chews to show what should be happening, and that is going to help the baby to learn. Another thing to think about is your baby comfy in their high chair? Sometimes, if they're not really comfortable or they're not feeling really well supported, they're not going to concentrate on the job at hand, which is eating and being able to sit there for a while. So make sure they're upright, make sure they're supported if they need it around their torso, and also make sure that their feet are on something hard, because as soon as you put your baby's feet onto something, it helps to stabilize the torso. That means they're not concentrating on keeping themselves upright and they're able to concentrate on eating, like I say. Another thing to think about is, are you spacing out milk feeds and solid food? Now, at the start of weaning, babies don't understand that with solid food that satisfies their hunger and stops them feeling hungry. And so we kind of want to have a decent gap in between, but not so long that they are crying out for milk. Because if you have a baby in the early stages of weaning that is crying because they're hungry, you need to give them milk, not solid food, because giving them the solid food, if they don't know it's going to fill them up, is going to upset them. Okay, so finding that sweet spot to start with, about halfway in between milk feeds, so they're hungry enough to be interested, not so hungry they're crying out for milk. And as time goes on, this is one of those areas where there's no right or wrong, but it's just working out with your baby what works for them. So sometimes milk first works. As time goes on, food first works. whatever feels right for your baby, but making sure that they are hungry enough for meals and not too hungry. Another thing to think about is, are there distractions? So sometimes when I watch videos of little ones eating, there's lots of stuff. If you're eating at a table, on the table, it hasn't been cleared, too much to be looking at. There's maybe telly on, there's maybe a dog down around the high chair and baby's looking over to see what's going on and is very distracted. What we are aiming for right from the start of weaning, all the way through childhood and adulthood really, is eating mindfully, connecting with food, understanding what the food is about and not having lots of other stuff going on that takes our attention elsewhere. So that's another reason why you should be sat with your baby, because if you're not and you've got up and you're doing the washing up and you're clearing up, instead of focusing on the food and that someone else is doing the same of them, what your baby's going to do is look to where you are doing the washing up or wherever you have gone to. So minimizing distractions. And then the final thing to think about is, are you relaxed? Are you happy and enjoying the moment? Babies are very intuitive, and if you are feeling very stressed because you're maybe worried about choking, or you're already worried that your baby isn't eating enough or isn't eating how you would expect them to, you are likely to be giving off those kind of vibes, and that potentially is going to negatively impact how your baby views food and how they eat, and therefore you're not going to get the optimum out of them. Okay, so that's just a few things to think about. Obviously, if you are really struggling, what I would say is try all of these things. If you find that you're still in a situation where weaning doesn't seem to be getting off on the right foot and it's not progressing as you would expect, then some more personalised help is always useful. So you can always drop me a line, comment below, ask any questions. If you want some help, you can come and see me. But hopefully just utilising these tips and getting them as part of your daily routine is going to really, really help.